A second competency hearing is underway right now for the admitted gunman of a church massacre in Charleston. At any moment, a judge could decide if Dylan Roof is fit to proceed with the sentencing phase. The penalty phase is set to begin tomorrow. As you'll recall, Roof was convicted of killing 9 African-American churchgoers in June of 2015 and is facing the death penalty. CNN's Martin Savage is live right outside the courthouse. Also joining me is CNN legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Laura Coates. Martin, to you first. What's happening inside the courtroom right now as we speak?
Well, they've been debating for about 3.5 hours, Pamela, now on this issue of competency. As you point out, it's the second time that this has been brought up in the trial of Dylan Roof. But because you're moving into what's considered to be the absolute critical phase of this trial, he's already been convicted, found guilty of over 30 charges, and now it's literally life and death. His defense attorneys, whom he is now shunning, are trying to say he is not in a mental state of mind to be capable of carrying out a defense, in other words, to argue for his own life because of psychological issues. So that's the reason that the evaluation, it was done over the weekend, and the judge in court this morning, before he closed the proceedings, inclined or seemed to allude something dramatic was revealed during this sort of second evaluation. Something about the strategy of Dylan Roof. He wouldn't go into any kind of detail, but he used that rather dramatic phrase, if you only knew what I know now, you would understand, meaning why he's closing down the proceedings to the public. He's afraid that whatever is learned would be reported today and that the jurors somehow, maybe inadvertently, would be told outside of court and that it could actually impact their decision. So kind of an 11th hour drama going on here. We don't know what it means, Pamela.
Yeah, that is very intriguing, Martin. Do we know what to expect from tomorrow's death penalty phase? I know it's tough to say because we don't know what that piece of information is.
Right. Well, we've already known that Dylan Roof has said that he is going to defend himself, which in a case, a death penalty case, not to mention a federal death penalty case, is just hard to even imagine. Then on top of that, he has said also that he's not going to present any evidence on his behalf. This is that time you would expect sort of mitigating factors where he would try to argue like, well, I may be guilty, but I shouldn't be put to death. None of that, apparently. He will make an opening statement and he will make some kind of closing statement. Meanwhile, the prosecution has dozens of witnesses they will call, family members and also even survivors. So it will be quite a painful litany of people giving their family's experience.
Yeah, very emotional. And Dylan Roof, Laura, has told the judge that he will not be calling on mental health experts or presenting mental health evidence. How might that affect his sentencing?
I mean, it's shocking that he wouldn't try at least to say the one piece of evidence that may actually help him is that he may in fact not been in his right mind, shock at the world. But the only thing that's going to really help him at this point is for him to grandstand. I hate to say it, but he's going to have to be soapboxy in this. It takes only one juror to be able to have him not get the death penalty in this case, right? It has to be unanimous. And so what he's going to do is try to appeal to everybody and say, listen, your visceral reaction to what happened in that church, that I did something wrong, please don't put me to death, even though I did deserve guilt. I did not deny that I did it, but I don't deserve death. That's going to be a very, very hard road to hoe, though. But keep in mind, his defense attorneys planted very, very good seeds during their closing arguments in the guilt phase. They used phrases that alluded to him not being mentally stable, to him not having control over his emotions, control over his actions, in an attempt to try to make that jury say, something's wrong with this person, we should not put this person to death.
And what do you make of the fact that he's representing himself quickly?
It's shocking, and he shouldn't do it if his goal was to actually exonerate himself or not get the death penalty. But I think here we have a person whose goal is to continue what he talked about in his manifesto and use this as an opportunity to do just that. It's a huge stage he wouldn't have otherwise had, and it's unfortunate he will exploit the emotions of the family.
All right, Laura Coates, Martin Savage, thank you so much.
Thank you.